Greetings, YouTube! Snails don't exist, bringing you a book review today. Taking a look at Stephen King's The Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is the first book in a 7-book series, the Dark Tower series. It's one of King's first books, I think. I think that I've read that somewhere. It's definitely, it's not his first, it's one of his first. And it's a pretty short read. Let's see here, it's clocks in at 300 pages, but 300 short pages. You get through it real quick. It's a real easy read. So if you're hesitant to read this book, I would say there's not a lot of risk going. I think I read it in 2 sessions, a couple, like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. It wasn't very long at all. And going into this book, I was really skeptic because of the obvious Western themes that do exist in the book. And traditionally, I don't like cowboys and shit like that. They're not really my thing. So I was skeptic, but after reading The Gunslinger, I have to say that this is a pretty good book, guys. I actually had a pretty good time reading this. And the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why, is because to say that The Gunslinger is a Western is only partially true. There's a lot of things going on here. There's fantasy elements. There's mystery. There's humor. There's King's traditional darkness. A lot of brutal shit going on here. A lot of horror themes going on in here. Yeah, and although those Western themes do occur, they're not expanded on too much. I think it's just a very basic part of the book, and I don't think it's going to exist in the rest of the series, or at least it doesn't seem that way. I haven't read the rest of the series. I'm on book 2 right now, and as far as I can tell, book 2 kind of drops that Western. So if you're going into the Western, if you're going to the Gunslinger, the Dark Tower series, and you're saying, I don't like Westerns, don't close the door just because of that, because there's a lot more going on here. So the book, to give a little background on the book. The book follows the Gunslinger, the last Gunslinger. He's a character named Roland, and Roland's sort of he's a very quiet type. He's very stern. He's very determined. Real cowboy, asshole kind of dude. And he's on this quest to reach the Dark Tower, or the tower. And we don't really, you don't learn a lot about the tower here, or the main plot. Only very little detail is actually spoken upon about what this quest really entails. But at least as far as this book is concerned, he's trying to get to this tower, and in order to get to the tower, the end goal, he has to chase down somebody, the man in black, to get information, because apparently this dude knows more about the tower than he does, so he's got to fucking catch him and ask him where the hell that thing's at. So yeah, it takes place in a desert. It's like this typical barren wasteland desert, and it's a chasing scene. It's Roland chasing after this man in black, who's got quite the distance on him. He knows he's following. He knows he's going the right way because he can see his fires and stuff like that. And he's sort of got this like gut intuition of where to go and all this shit like that. But yeah, it's Roland chasing the man in black in order to get information on this tower. And during this journey, he encounters a wide variety of characters. There's a lot of characters in here, and characters are, I'm not going to get too in-depth into the individual characters, but they're pretty badass. They got some cool characters in this book. You get to meet a lot of different types, and King does a really good job, at least in my opinion, with character development. So you're introduced to these people, and you like them pretty quick. He meets, it's sort of got this like good, bad, and the ugly theme going on here. You got the man in black, who's the bad guy. He's kind of like a sorcerer, black magic weirdo, kind of fucking, like, he can like raise the dead and all this crazy shit and do a bunch of stuff. He's the evil guy, and you don't get to know too much about him. Not too terribly much. You've got the good, and the good is a character that Roland encounters during his quest. He stops at this way station out in the middle of the desert, and he finds this boy that's 11. I think he's 11 years old. His name is Jake, and Jake doesn't know how he got to the way station. And not only does he not know how he got into the way station, he doesn't know how he got into Roland's world, which is Midworld, and it's clearly separate from Jake's world, which is Jake's world is our world, or it's like he's from New York City, and I think around like the 1970 is where he's from. Jake's very innocent. He's the good of the book. He's very nice. He eventually accompanies Roland on this quest, and he's this pure innocent child that Roland is well aware of. Roland sort of plays the ugly character. He's a bit of he's a bit of an anti-hero. It's not so much that he's evil. It's just that he is willing to do whatever it takes to reach this tower. He's not a bad person. You get the impression that Roland's not a bad guy, but he has to get to the tower at whatever cost. No matter, he's willing to sacrifice and do whatever it takes to reach this tower. So there's a lot of obstacles in this first book where Roland is forced to do some pretty gnarly shit in order to pursue his quest. What I don't like about this book, the cons of this book are the same issues that I have with the other King novels that I've read. I haven't read all of them by any means, but I've read It and The Stand and Cujo. I've read a couple, and it's this tendency for King to become so overly detailed that he derails from the plot as a whole. He'll sit there and fucking describe a flower for like 50 pages or something like that. Just these not unnecessary amounts of detail in certain areas that get so off topic and so off base that you're just like, what the hell's going on? I think that some of the pages could be clipped, some of them could be removed, and it wouldn't detract from the story at all. So, other than that, there's nothing really bad to say about it. I mean, I know people give this book a lot of shit, and I don't really know why. I think people just like to give Stephen King shit because he's Stephen King. He's definitely, you can tell that he wrote this when he was younger, for sure. Like I said, it's one of his. I think he said in the beginning he wrote this when he was 19, which is fucking pretty impressive for a 19-year-old to create such a fantasy stories. But as far as like I said, I've started the next one. You can definitely see an increase in ability. But overall, this book, if you're looking for a fantasy series, this book left me wanting more. It's quick to read, and it'll get you interested rather quickly. You'll want to dive in. You want to know more about the characters, more about the quest. It'll get you really thirsty for the rest of the novels. I mean, as soon as I finished this one, I got the next one and picked it up almost instantly. And it's crazy, guys, there's so much shit going on here. Like there's different dimensions. There's time is being messed with. There's flashbacks into Roland's past. There's glimpses into the future. There's creatures. There's fucking demons, and just there's so much. There's a lot of cool shit going on here, and it's not overload. Like, or fantasy tends to just go insane. It's pretty. Although the quest is huge and there's a lot going on, it's very organized and easy to keep track of. So yeah, the Gunslinger, guys, I would recommend it. Definitely not a bad book. It's, like I said, it's quick, it's easy to get through. So if you're even remotely interested in reading the series, I would at least try it. And from what I hear, this is supposed to be the worst one in the series. The first one's supposed to suck compared to the rest, which is like, if that's true, it's going to be a pretty fucking badass series, because this is by no means a bad book. It's really not. It's pretty damn good. So yeah, give it a shot. Try it out. It's fun. There's a lot more to come. I'm definitely ready to read the rest of them. I'm going to read the rest of them. So I'm excited to see what's to come. But anyway, The Gunslinger by Stephen King, guys. Badass book. Give it a shot. Take care.